Today I want to shine a spotlight on Jason Paige, the legendary voice behind the original theme song Gotta Catch 'Em All. His vocals made that song an unforgettable anthem for fans all over the world. But his talent goes far beyond just Pokemon. Jason's worked with some of the biggest names in the music industry like Michael Jackson, Aerosmith, and Meatloaf. Jason's achievements don't stop there. He's become the voice of a generation, thanks to his works on the Pokemon theme, but he's also known for his incredible voice versatility. From rock anthems to smooth ballads, Jason can do it all. And whether he's performing live with legendary artists or lending his voice to iconic songs, he's made a lasting impact on the music industry. Now, let's talk to the voice of a generation himself.
Nice, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Great, almost a Saturday. Great Tuesday going on. I like the shirt you got going on there with the hat.
Thank you very much. That's the official Jason Paige hat. I doodle these up. I have the doodled ones for sale at my events. And somebody made me this cool shirt with an ash and a JP behind it. And if there's anything you want to know about all of that, it's ready to go.
Oh man, that looks very cool. I love the voice of a generation.
Right where I am. How about that?
Oh man, it's great. I love the title "Voice of a Generation" because you really are, Like, I mean, I definitely grew up with you. I know my cousins and my younger cousins and older cousins both, like, as soon as you hear that first line of that theme song, it always brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah, that was a term that I resisted it for a long time, and people on interviews and on YouTube comments just said it so many times that I eventually had to accept that this is something that people really feel. And then I thought, all right, well, I'm gonna, use it as a tagline. And there it is. Here, let me turn my ringers off. That's one thing I should definitely be doing here.
How did you even get started in the Pokemon theme song? I know that you were a backup singer for Michael Jackson, right?
Yes, I am what's known as a session singer. Session singing for all of the jingle houses in New York City at the time. And background singing as well, just spreading my voice out all across the New York City scene. The jingle scene, the background scene, the producing scene, the writing scene. And I was in a band, so my band was playing clubs and trying to make it. My band became a public access TV show, the What's Up show right there. And we would broadcast the band's antics on public access TV. And all the people in New York City at the time, public access only had 18 channels. Music producers would watch that. They'd see us singing in the streets, doing all kinds of funny stuff. And then they would call me in for jingle sessions, and Pokemon was one of those sessions I did for a company called Paradise Music. They did Domino's Pizza Delivers and some other things, and they knew that my voice was the right type for the song. As they get a brief, Pokemon in Japan hired 4 kids in the United States to create the English version, which meant they had to dub it in English and they had to create the music and do all the things sonically. So when 4 kids hired Paradise Music, John Leffler and John Sigler, friends of mine who wrote the song and produced the song, and had hired me for other spots and other jingles and things. So they just called me in and knew that I could fulfill that sound. And it was just a matter of singing the song, hitting it out of the park, and convincing the Pokemon Corporation that it was the right way to go. And clearly it worked.
Clearly, I mean, I've seen the original Pokémon Monsters intro from Japan, and it's not the same. And I feel like almost every intro that has come out after that one is trying to kind of replicate that, not in a bad way, because it's so iconic, the original Pokemon theme song. How did you Did you have a feeling that it would become this iconic and that you would be known as this, or was this just another job to you?
Well, everything I do, I'm committing myself as if I'm standing on the stage in Madison Square Garden and singing to 50,000 people on a broadcast that will be, like Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary, a historical event. I'm thinking of this interview as a historical event that will go down in history. I'm living my life trying to connect to every moment and live every moment to its fullest. So, this kind of manifestation is how we show up the best for ourselves and for our friends and family by taking everything as seriously as we can, being aware, being connected to ourselves. So we don't know what the future is, but we know what the present is, and the present is an opportunity to knock it out of the park, as it was then and as it is now. I'm trying to hit this interview out of the park, and so are you, my friend. So thank you for showing up and, doing your thing, because this is going to go down in history, because
it is
it's recorded and distributed and, there for the rest of the eternity for people to share and to grow and to learn from.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually insane. Like my YouTube channel, I wouldn't have even found YouTube if it wasn't for Pokemon. I am such a fan of Pokemon that I was just typing on the internet Pokemon live action, and because of Smosh, that got me into YouTube because of their Pokemon stuff. So it's all connected in some way.
Yeah.
And that mindset of giving everything your all and treating everything at 110%, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, Smosh, they were the first Pokemon theme song music video. They beat me to it. I was just thinking it's just the kids, obviously it's a hugely successful franchise enterprise that was going on at the time. 2005, Smosh and YouTube, they were the most watched video on YouTube in the history of YouTube. I think it was at 35 million. That was oh my God.
That's huge actually for 2005. Yeah.
Video. And then that dance guy took over. The one dance guy became the next most watched video. And YouTube actually, was a smaller company at the time. They sold to Google and because they couldn't handle the expansion. A big company like Google really needed to take over and nurture the platform, because that one video was breaking the internet. That was the internet. YouTube was breaking the internet because of Smosh. And Smosh was breaking the internet because of Pokemon. And Pokemon was breaking the internet because of you.
Pokemon. Speaking of Smosh, there's been multiple covers and remixes of the song. Do you have a favorite version of
Somebody just sent me today from the Netherlands it's kind of like a rock it's like a rock version, but in the middle of it, the dude is doing screaming thrash throat, heavy I don't even know, metal deathcore. So he goes, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. And the guy goes, it's so funny. And then he's, I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. It's so funny. It's so funny because it's but you get used to that type of style of music, and then you start to get into it and you're like, wow, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. My favorite version that I've been a part of is the Jonathan Young remix, number 1. Number 2, the hard style Rob Gastrop and Altage Larsdijk hard style Netherlands version. And number 3, not Fat Rat, but actually Video Games Live Orchestra version. That also got remixed by Fat Rat. So there's just so many versions that are really cool. I did it's called Poke Styles video. People kept sending me different versions of it, as they still do, just like they sent me one today. And I edited them all together. And there's so many. There's multiple languages. There's jazz versions, there's marching band versions, there's instrumental versions, there's just every language, every style, every genre. It's one of the most covered songs, I think, probably in history. I mean, you can't really cover Bohemian Rhapsody because it's too difficult.
Yeah.
But Pokemon, it's a generation of kids that grew up, and now all those kids that are musicians, they're covering that song.
I mean, multiple generations. I mean, Smosh, one of their first videos on YouTube was Pokemon. I bring up Smosh because they're one of my favorite channels, but think about how big they became, how many people they inspired, but they were inspired by Pokemon, and then just how big it gets just from from the song, from the movies, whatever, how wide that spreads out. But
Yeah,
do you meet a lot of fans who like got into music because they of the Pokemon song?
I do get that comment often. I sometimes have people say I learned English by singing the Pokemon theme song. In other countries, they play that song and they learn the song, and they also learn English from playing Pokemon cards. I've also had people say that they learn math from the Pokemon game, from actually playing the
Really?
card game. So, Pokemon, it's a very educational sort of ecosystem. The critical thinking or the game theory that you have to use to catch Pokemon is also very advanced. So it's a really important thing for kids to grow up, having all these different choices with the games and the cards and the TV show and the music. But yeah, people are like, it's the first song I sang at karaoke. It's the first song I sang with my piano recital class. There's just so many people whose musical careers have been inspired by Pokemon, if not actually started by Pokemon. And besides my song, there's lots of other music, like you said, all the other themes that went on, and the other songs on the To Be a Master record. I'm on the road to Viridian City, another song from that record that I sang. And I've created other music in the Pokemon ecosystem. Go, Pokemon, go! You can find them everywhere. And this will never be our last goodbye. Ash's last goodbye. So I got a Pokemon Go theme song. I got Ash's last goodbye, which is, honoring the end of the story of Ash or Pikachu and that final episode. And I also did an unofficial Detective Pikachu theme song that is a sister song to the Pokemon theme song. They play perfectly together. You can check out my video where I play the Detective Pikachu song and sing the Pokemon theme song right over it. The lyrics are like a duet, pretty much.
Ooh, that's awesome. Like I've been seeing some of your TikToks and Instagram reels. I see the Ash's Final Goodbye one. I wanted to ask you, there was this one video I saw where I think it was like an unofficial version of like the end of Ash's career. So instead of I want to be the very best, as he became the very best. Is that something that you actually sang, or is that something that someone did an AI voice of? Because I haven't been able to find it again.
No, that's me. That's me. But it's on the end of the Pokemon. I think it's called Pokemon Wrap Up, RAP up, and they are wrapping up Ash's last goodbye, Ash and Pikachu's goodbye, and the 7 different rappers rap in the beginning of it to tell the whole story of Pokemon, and then I just do that last part. He became the very best, like no one ever was. So many years, so many quests, the lessons we were taught, all the places around the world, the lows and the highs. A generation that can't forget the power that's inside. Great reimagining kind of the Pokemon lyrics. They wrote that and asked me to sing it, and I was like, this is a great idea. I love it.
I have chills, right? I'm like goosebumps.
It's really good because it's my voice with the same kind of lyrics closing out. People have asked for a full version of that song, which I should probably get on that, because it's really heartfelt. But that's what Last Goodbye is. That's the heartfelt conclusion. But this one is also really good.
Yeah, like just hearing that, like I got so many chills. Like every time I hear it, it brings back so many memories of just like, me and my brother watching the show, just growing up, and just how widespread this become. And I'm glad that you kind of embrace that the voice of a generation thing. I know there's a lot of other people in different types of industries, like when they get known for one thing, there's like, oh, I don't really want to be known for that. But I'm kind of glad that you're one of the people that likes being embraced for and being known as the voice of a generation. Like you sung in you do singing at like at concerts and events as well. How does it feel like if you're yeah how does it feel when if you're doing a concert for like for non-Pokemon related stuff, but you see fans come up that are fans of you for Pokemon?
Yeah. Well, I sang. I was on tour with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You make me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. That's one of their big songs. What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel, got to go around. great band with an incredible horn section and amazing musicians, great songs. They were started in 1968, I believe, 67, 68, and they're still going. In that tour, I would tell people, well, the guitar player actually would announce me and talk about my other jingles that I did, that I sang with Michael Jackson, that I sang the Subway Eat Fresh, the Lego Mania, the Pokemon theme song, and, you know, the people would kind of perk up and laugh a little bit about it because everybody knows Pokemon. But yeah, it's interesting to get fans at other places that are Pokemon fans, but they're there to see me do something else. And that it's really cool because, you know, they're experiencing all the rest of me through the gateway of Pokemon, which is, you know, what we're doing right here.
That's very cool. Would you, if Pokemon approached you again to do another project for them, whether it's another theme song or thing, would you be open to working with them again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the value that I can bring to the brand is, I'm super excited about it, and they don't really have. Well, I guess they had Post Malone, but they had the animated version of Post Malone representing them. Because I think the actual real life version of Post Malone might be a little too uncontrollable. He's got some tattoos on his face that aren't exactly kid friendly, I think.
That's fair.
But yeah, absolutely. The Pokemon Corporation has lots of things that they do, and at some point, hopefully, we'll partner on something.
Yeah, Pokemon Nintendo, if you're listening, let's make it happen. I'm sure so many people would be happy to hear your voice again on another Pokemon project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, do you have a favorite Pokemon and a favorite Pokemon game?
I don't have a favorite Pokemon. I say I don't have favorites. I have experiences, because it's important to have a wide range of Pokemon experiences. You know, there's people that show up and they're like, look at my Pikachu card book, and all they've got is Pikachu cards, and their whole thing. I'm like, you're missing out.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I did have an experience with Mr. Mime that was really cool. I loved him in the movie. Somebody gave me a really cool Mr. Mime card, and I thought it was really funny. He was sweeping the yard in the last episode. And I think it's really cool that, you know, he's the closest thing to a human being, Pokemon.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, I do agree with that, with having experiences. I recently played through some of the original games. I started with Emerald, but I was like, you know, I want to go back to Red, Blue, and Yellow, because I've never played those games through. And what the goal is, like, I don't want to use Pokemon I used before. I want to try out new ones. And I have such newfound respect for Pokemons I've never used. So I 100% agree with that, because if you keep using just ones you like, you're never going to experience some of the new features. You might like them. You never know.
Yeah, we are made up of our diverse interests and our diverse influences. And if we only have one thing, then we kind of get locked into that thing, and we don't really have anything to offer except just expertise on that thing. It's kind of like our society wants us to do that. When we're kids, we you know, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? I mean, we ask kids all the time, what's your favorite class? What's your favorite teacher? Like, you're constantly having to decide as a kid and tell somebody which choice you made. What's your favorite candy? What's your favorite cereal? Like, why do we constantly force kids into selectivization? I mean, we're just sort of programmed in this way, and I think it's, you know, it's kind of the compartmentalization of society to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we got these experts in these different fields, especially medicine, and they don't even know what the other person knows. But obviously, there's so much to know in one field. But, you know, there's a lot of new information on holistic approaches to things, and that's basically just having a broader understanding of everything that you can have in a particular field. That makes you a better practitioner of whatever it is you're doing if you know all the other areas. You know, pizza, or basically you're combining all the areas. So the holistic approach to Pokemon would be to have a different types of different kinds, and to know a little bit about all of them, so that you can build your team to be the very best, like no one ever was. Otherwise, you're just a Pikachu team, and that's going to get beat.
whenever I play a new game, I do set that rule for myself. Is like I only want to use Pokemon from this new generation to kind of, again, kind of broaden my horizons, kind of
Yep.
experience the new things. Because if I didn't do that, I would have never discovered like Corviknight, who's a big metal bird that I love now. And it's like if I just kept using the same Pokemon over and over again, I love that approach. Just broaden your horizons, basically. Don't
Yep.
just
Yep.
stick with one thing. Now,
100%.
what's a question you've always wanted to be asked about the you singing the theme song, or just the theme song in general, that you haven't been asked about it? I know that you've done multiple interviews about it and that it's broad, but has there been one that you've always wanted to be asked but you haven't?
Um, what I wanted to be asked about the theme song. Um, Not particularly. I mean, I, yeah, I know. It's not a question that I haven't been asked. Like I say pretty much what I want to say about things. So this would be something that I want to say about it that I've never been able to say because no one's asked me about it. So no, because I've said pretty much tell whatever there is to be told about it.
That's understandable. I mean, you strike me as the type of person who, is just you're you 130%, no matter what. And I can definitely respect that because I'm very similar in that way. Don't hold back, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody once, I mean, I have been asked about it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Somebody asked about the gear that we use to record it, and I was just on a call with the one of the composers, and I had thought in the studio, and they did have these other type of recording devices called Tascam D88s, but he said they actually recorded it on reel to reel. They had a recording studio that had like 3 or 4 different control rooms all sharing the same isolation booth in the center, and they were tie lines in, meaning any studio could use that center room, and recorded it to a reel-to-reel tape. So that's what it was, and I think it was an AKG 1214 that was the mic that was used, but I'm not exactly sure.
That's fair. And if you could collaborate with any current artist on a Pokemon-related project, is there anyone specific that you would want to collaborate, or have you collaborated with them recently?
Um, a current artist. You
Yeah,
mean
like, or I guess any artist in general.
well, I am I'm looking at all of the Pokemon artists that are all the artists that are also Pokemon fans, and there's quite a few of them actually. But I think Miley Cyrus is a pretty good choice. If I could do a song with Miley Cyrus about Pokemon, that'd be really cool. Jamal Williams, not an artist but a football player, is also a big Pokemon fan, and I just realized that gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. It's actually in the phrase. Every time I sing it, I keep hearing gotta catch 'em all. There's no way I can sing it without hearing Jamal's name now.
That's fair.
It's incredible. So I want to do a collaboration with Jamal Williams.
Here's hoping you're able to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I do have some questions about the projects behind you. I see Gotham back there.
Yep.
What did you do for Gotham?
Gotham, I was a bad wedding singer. In the scene, they hired a band to play in the wedding that the characters have to go in and see, and the wedding band was good. And the scene, as they are outside of the scene, they're having some sort of conversation about how bad the band is. So they had to re-record the band sounding bad, even though the band that they hired for the shoot was good. They had to re-record and overdub a band sounding bad. So I got hired to sing a bad vocal for this scene that the band had to sound bad to basically inform the scene that they had already, that was written for the show. So a lot of times that's what happens in movies and TV. They'll record the scene with characters that are there, and they either can't sing, or they sing the wrong way, or they didn't record it properly, or like the Muppets. Life's a happy song where there's someone by your side to sing along. That's Kermit singing. But in the song, they have like 20 or 30 other characters. Life's a fillet of fish. Life's a like a lamb. Life's a bunch of highs. All of these 3 characters in a row are all my voices for 3 different people who either couldn't sing or didn't sound right. So they re-record the music and then they overdub. Life's a bunch of highs. It's the dude who's like a hippie guy sits in that singing, smoking a joint. Then you got the life's a like a lamb. It's the butcher, and you got a couple of different characters that voices don't match the visual. So I get called in to be the voice to match the visual.
See, interesting. And last question for you. I know I got you for another minute or two here. Is there any current projects you're working on that you want to promote, and where can people find you?
Yeah, well, at jasonpaige.com, you can find my calendar, and that's bringing me all around the world. Today, I just signed for a Comic-Con called Japan Manga Wave in Belgium on the 8th and 7th and 8th, and then in south of France, Andoulay, Andoulaz. I don't even remember the name of the place, but south of France, Japan Manga Wave, the 15th and 16th, 14th and 15th, and Collecticons this weekend in Richmond, Virginia. And my own projects, I have a lot of music that I'm releasing. It's already out, much of it, but I'm making videos for some of the songs. And they're already out on Spotify under Jason Paige and DJ AIN0. I know, AIN0. And it's kind of a EDM rock style. And eventually I'm performing it at various music festivals with some of these remixes and some of my new music as well. And I'm going to Burning Man right after Richmond. So I'll be at Burning Man. My music, my store, you can check out new stuff that's coming to my store, jasonpaige.com. Shop is right there. We've got some really cool card books. We've got some hoodies. We've got the hats available and some amazing autographed signed items that are now graded and slabbed. And you can find those on my eBay as well. So, you know, there's a lot of cool projects. Every year I do the Beatles Gospel Nativity, where I arrange a whole bunch of Beatles songs for a gospel choir that tells the nativity story. And that is going to go to its next level this year and next year as well. We're in our 15th year of that show. That's over here, Both A Hard Day's Silent Night. It's called Both. And it's just here in Los Angeles. I just recorded, and I'm actually recording it a little bit later today. Duncan's Flying Tugboat, climb aboard. Duncan's Flying Tugboat, a new song for them. And there's an amazing coin that I'm a part of the community. It's called Catch You Coin. Gonna catch you, oh, catch you coin. It's basically a meme coin, but it has Pokemon-themed games and Pokemon-themed memes and AI usage that is really cool. So if you're into cryptocurrency, you can get Catchu, KATCHU.io. And that's going to be a really cool thing that's happening if you're into crypto. So yeah, lots of stuff always going on. Hats, shirts, merchandise, incredible interviews from people like you, my friend. Thank you for doing this. It's really
thank you so much for giving me the time of day.
Because you're getting people to understand the power that's inside. Yeah, the true value of what I do is being able to share it with people like you, and the true value of what you do is sharing what you do with other people. So we're just making these connections, releasing the power that's inside, which is our joy and our connection to nostalgia and our connection to our truest, most unique, authentic selves, which is what people feel when they connect to Pokemon, because I think Pokemon really allows us to have our authentic selves in our Pokemon ecosystem. So, your authentic self has been inspired by it. My authentic self has been inspired by it. We're going to inspire other people to be their authentic selves like no one ever was. And thank you for doing this, bro. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason, for the opportunity to interview you. If you guys want to check out his works, links will be in the description of the video. Until next time, signing off.